Good afternoon, and welcome to the Baseball and Beer Podcast. I'm your host, John Nee. Flying solo today is my co-host and beer expert, J.R. Nicholas, is away on vacation. He'll be back in time to join me on the next podcast, which we should bring to you possibly live from Pittsburgh, July 19th. We're out for the 3-game set. A couple good breweries out there, so we're hoping to possibly do a live show from out there. So anyway, let's jump into what's transpired with the Phillies in the last since I last spoke with you. This past Thursday, the Phillies reached the halfway point of their season with a record of 53-28, which is phenomenal. Has them 7 games up on the Braves for first place in the NL East. It did come at a big cost as the Phillies lost Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber to injuries. The good news is they seem to have dodged a bullet, as it appears the two of them, along with JT, should be back after the All-Star break. So the big question is, can the Phillies, can they hold the fort down? It was 15 games they had to play to the All-Star break since Thursday night, since those injuries. So far, they are 1-1. There has been a little struggle with the offense as they have only scored 4 runs in these 2 games. So it might be something to keep an eye on there with the offense. See how Thompson's going to mix and match to try to get some offense here. It's a tough blow. It's a tough blow, but it's one I think they can. They should be able to overcome. They do have a good lead on the Braves. It's 13 games currently now to that point. They're 7 games up. If they can just hold the fort, 7-6, 6-7, maybe just 500 ball to that break, get healthy and go from there. And then, when they come back from that break, they'll be in Pittsburgh. Like I said, we'll be bringing you a podcast from there, hopefully. And it'll be a short time after that to the trade deadline. So I'm anxious to see what Dombrowski's going to do there as well. I believe he's going to have to make some moves here to reinforce his team. Probably somewhere along the pitching line is where I think he may go. We'll see what happens there. So again, it's 13 games now to the All-Star break, and hopefully we get some reinforcements back after that. Hopefully JT, Schwarber, and Harper. So today, without my expert here, I'm drinking a beer from Williamsport, PA, from New Trail Brewery. It's a Broken Heels. It's a hazy IPA. My son brought these home from Williamsport when he was up there in college. It was a spot him and his college buddies went to a few times, so I've never had the opportunity to get there yet. Hopefully sometime in the future. The beer's pretty good. I mean, I don't mind it at all. Whoa. It is a hazy beer that, let's give it a swirl. I had tried one the other night and going to give it another shot now. Yeah, it's not too bad. I enjoy it. So, let's look at some of the options the Phillies are going to have going forward. So, number 1, the starting pitching. Injuries to Walker and Turnbull have created a need for a 5th starter. The Phillies are going to go with rookie Michael Machado right now. That's okay. They have some time here, like I said, till the trade deadline and all, to see how he works out. He was very good in the minor leagues. They used him in relief the other night. He pitched a solid inning, 1, 2, 3. So, that's okay for now. And, at some point, Turner and Walker should be back, and one will go back to the bullpen, most likely Turnbull, and Walker back into the rotation. But I feel this is a spot where Dombrowski could really make a splash. Trevor Bauer is still out there. He's pitching very well, and that's a guy you can sign for league minimum. And I think a move like this, not only does it take care of that 5th spot, this also safeguards against an injury to one of your top 4 pitchers over the next 3 months of the season. What we've seen with the position players going down here, there's always a chance for a pitcher to go down. So I think this is a move that, quite frankly, should be made. I mean, this is a team that's trying to win a couple of World Series here, and hopefully a couple more in the next few years with the core that they have right now. An aging core at that, with Harper and Castellanos, JT, and Schwarber. These guys are in their 30s now, so you might have a slight 3, possibly 4 or 5 year window here. So a guy like Bauer could really put this starting pitching over the top and it would also it would give them, come playoff time, you only need 4 starters, so they would have 5 legitimate, number 1 and number 2 pitchers in this rotation. So one of them would have to go to the bullpen, and that would be a great scenario to have. They have the scenario last year against Arizona. They win that series. We saw that they were caught shorthanded at the end with their bullpen, quite frankly. And Walker didn't pitch an inning in the playoffs last year, so that tells me they were not confident in him at all. They didn't trust him to go out there. A guy like Bauer, he could be a guy that could give you 3 innings on a Monday night in a playoff series, turn around and give you 2 or 3 more on a Thursday night, in a game 4 if needed. So that would be a move I would really like to see the Phillies entertain. So we'll see what Dombrowski and management think it is there. Not bad at all. All right. Next up, the bullpen. Alvarado, Strom, Hoffman, Kirkconnell have been excellent all year. They are 4 back end guys you can definitely count on. Thompson likes to mix and match with matchups for closing games, and that's fine for now. But if they could make a move, possibly a set closer. Even though I don't believe, Thompson, he did show Kimbrel kind of became his set closer last year. So, that's another area of concern where they might want to add a spot. Dominguez and Soto have been better. So they're starting to pitch okay. If them 6 are solid, that's one heck of an asset to have going into the playoffs. Junior Marte's been recalled from AAA where he was not pitching well. As a matter of fact, he was getting lit up to replace Turnbull for the time being. And Jose Ruiz, who had been pitching pretty good, is now also headed to the IL. So, this is another spot that Dombrowski may need to address. The obvious names that people have heard, being mentioned are Oakland's closer, Mason Miller. The Marlins closer right now, we're playing Miami currently today. Sunday will be the final game of this series, is Tanner Scott. Mason Miller would cost a boatload of prospects. He's under team control for a few years. He's young. He would probably cost you at least 2 of your top 5 prospects, possibly 3 of your top 10, and maybe even more. And, whether Dombrowski's willing to pull a move like that, that's to be determined. But as we've seen, when the Phillies from 2007 to 11, when they had their playoff run there, and guys got older, they didn't have the minor leagues to replace them, and it was another 10-year, 11-year drought before they got back to the playoffs. So, depleting the minor league system might not be the way to go right here. Tanner Scott from the Marlins probably would not cost as much as Miller. You're probably going to have to give up a top 5 prospect for him. Maybe a Mick Abel here. Maybe even a guy like Sterling Caba. He's your number 5 prospect. He's a shortstop. He's probably blocked. Let's be honest here. Bryson Stott and Turner are both going to be your second baseman and shortstop for a while. So maybe Caba and Mick Abel are a guy you could part with to get Caba. Dombrowski could also get creative here and go with, they're looking for outfield help apparently. He could also go for, Scott from the Marlins and Jazz Chisholm Jr. So you'd probably have to add another prospect into that. So, you might have to take 3 of your top 10, 4 of your top 10 prospects. Could he get away with doing that with maybe he trades Rojas, Johan Rojas, they'd be looking for a center fielder. Maybe he could move Abel, Caba, and possibly add, another top 10 guy like Griff McGarry and Gabriel Rincones Jr., Caba, like I said. If they could do this and make that move, that would probably be the move to make. If they can hold on to Painter, Miller, Crawford, and they have a young catcher, Eduardo Tate, who's probably 2 or 3 years away from being ready. And that would probably be along the timeline where you might be looking to replace JT. So if they can get away with a move like that, that's something that would really help this team. A closer at the back end. He's a lefty. That would give, and again, Thompson may not use him strictly as a closer. It would just be another guy in the mix. And if you had a guy like Trevor Bauer back there, as the 5th starter being used out of the bullpen in the playoffs, man, that would be lights out. That would be lights out with the current offense they have. So, that's another thing that, again, Dombrowski, he's probably going to make a move here, folks. Let's be honest here. They know what they need, and they know what they have here in this team, and they're looking to win and win now, to be honest. So, finally, let's move to the outfield. There's been quite a few names linked to the Phillies here. Again, Jazz Chisholm Jr. is one from the Marlins. Michael Conforto has been a name that's been kicked around from the Giants. And the big name being thrown around is Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox. He's a center fielder, power, hits for decent average, but he's been injured a lot. So he's a player, again, like Mason Miller, would cost you top prospects and quite a few of them. So that may be a move. It sounds sexy. It'd be a great move. We can get him here, but at what cost? I wouldn't want to see a guy like Crawford and Miller go on to obtain him, and that's probably what it would take to get him. The White Sox are in the driver's seat here. They're going to be making a move. They're looking to rebuild. So, and there's plenty of teams looking for outfield help that might be willing to give up 3, 4, even 5 prospects. So, hopefully, this is one that Dombrowski stays away from. And right now Thompson seems to be going with a platoon in the outfield out there. So, you have a, left-handed hitters in Dahl and Marsh. The righties right now on the roster, Rojas has been recalled. So you got Rojas, Merrifield out there, and Pache. Pache and Merrifield have been terrible this year hitting, to be honest. They're below 200. I don't see any reason why to believe they would come out of it. Dahl's a nice luxury to have out there, kind of a Matt Stairs type. He is a journeyman. He's 31 years old. He has some raw power. An everyday player, no. Even a platoon player who would be playing, 2-3 times a week, probably not. Would they be okay out there with Marsh and Rojas and Castellanos for a while? I wouldn't see why not. I mean, I know Marsh struggles a little bit against lefties, but the only way you're going to hit lefties is if you play every day against the lefties. And quite frankly, I think Marsh and Stott, who seems to be sitting quite a lot against lefties, they need to be playing every day. I mean, you have the lead, these next 13 games, let these guys go. Let's just see what they can do, Let them start playing, get some experience. You're going to need these guys in the playoffs. I don't think you want to roll out some form of a platoon of, like I said, Marsh and center and Dahl and left, and then Rojas and center and Merrifield and right come playoff time. I just don't think that's a good way to go. I mean, they did it in '93, it worked, and maybe it would work. I don't know, but I do believe this is a spot that Dombrowski would make a move here. So, getting at it, basically, I believe the Phillies, over the next couple of weeks, they need to hold off the Braves for these next 13 games. Will the Braves chip away at it? Most likely, with where the Phillies are at. We could see that lead maybe down to somewhere. The Phillies will play the Braves during these 13 games. So we could see that lead drop from 7 down to somewhere around 3 or 4 games at the All-Star break. Hopefully reinforcements in Harper, JT, and Schwarber will be back. A couple weeks after that will be the trade deadline, where I believe they will add. And it's going to be a heck of a race. It should be a heck of a summer, August and September, down this race with the Braves. So, it should be an interesting month. I would like to see, Thompson right now for these next couple of weeks, just get with a set lineup there. Marchand and Stubbs are going to split time and catch, and I'm okay with that. Let's just, Baum and Sosa at first if you want to move them a little bit and, mix up, get Sosa in there sometime. Sosa and Baum can rotate between third and first. If you want to get Clemens a couple games against, a tough righty for Sosa, I'm fine with that. Stott every day, second. Turner every day at short. Let's get Marsh in left every day. Rojas out there and Castellanos and right. Possibly Dahl is your DH. He has some power, so let's just go with them over the next couple weeks. Topper and see what happens here. Try to piece together possibly an 8-5 record, 7-6. And just let's hope the Braves don't turn into a 10-13 or Braves have a couple games in hand too. So. Let's just hope, you can keep this lead at a good number, 4 or 5 games up. And, again, we'll hit that All-Star break. And, hopefully, there's some talk of Harper and Schwarber coming back before that. I don't know. We seen Turner back. Turner's not running at 100% with that hamstring. Marsh is. Marsh, maybe it wasn't severe. He seems to be back and healthy. Turner just seems to be holding back a little bit. So, Harper doesn't always run out ground balls to first base. We've seen that. And that has a lot to do with his bad back, his bulky back. And now he has a hamstring on top of it. So I don't really need to be rushing him back. Schwarber with the groin when he comes back. Topper, look, I know he lost some weight. He moves a little better this year. You want to get him a little options out in left field. And that could have been possibly because they could be looking for a DH possibly. Could Schwarber play every day in left? My opinion here is like, he's your DH. Keep him at DH. Let's keep him healthy for the stretch run as well and go from there. So I look forward, folks, to talking to you in a few weeks. Most likely we're going to let this roll out here for 2 or 3 weeks, get my co-host back and when we head out to Pittsburgh. Again, we'll try to bring you a live broadcast from Pittsburgh as we have about 12 to 15 breweries that we've frequented over the last couple of years when we've gone out for the Phils and Pirates trip. And we'd like to give you some options out there. If anyone viewing this ever heads out to Pittsburgh, they would have some options to look at if that's your thing. But again, we'll try to get to you, but there's always that scenario where, we may be having a little too much fun at them breweries and you don't want to hear from us. Or maybe you do. Maybe it'd be a funny podcast with us a little pickled up there. So hopefully we'll talk to you then. If not, it'll be, afterwards. And, let's have a great 4th of July, everybody, and go Phils. Have a great night. Great day and a great weekend.